So, while I'm waiting to record a new podcast, I'm going to give you guys some a filler episode, where I just talk about all the dreams that I've written down on my phone while I eat Sour Patch Kids watermelon and drink Hawaiian Punch. So this one was from November 19th, 2016. This is the first one that I've written down. So I had this dream last night where my family went to a theme park and my brother and his friend went somewhere else. So me and my dad went on a Jurassic Park ride since my mom had already been on it. So we went on it and it seemed really normal, but this crazy looking robot came out and we had to play a mini game where he had picked us up and we had to run down his back without catching on fire and dying. When we did it and went on with the ride, really, we just kept rolling around the ride and the robot would pop up. Last time he popped up, it was just his eyes. And he said, technology, really loud. So, like, imagine, like, just blown out speakers and technology. So, after he said that, there was supposed to be a roar of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But the speakers went out and it sounded like really loud ear rape. It hurt my ears. When we went through a cloth, and a big dinosaur popped up, and we went through its legs, and the ride ended. So I remember that one. I'm not sure what the robot looked like, but it was kind of scary. It was a scary robot, honestly. Okay. Next up, April 30th, 2017, at 6:41 a.m. I had a dream where I went home to find all my figures on my bed, and when I looked away and turned back, they were gone. So I assume it was like some quantum bullshit. Then I told my dad about it. Then I went outside, and there were a bunch of dogs outside, and a landlord. I pet like 2 of the dogs, and the ones I did looked like they had bats. Looked like they had a bat head, and one of them was upside down. Yeah, so like, it was just a normal dog, but its head was an upside-down bat head. Next up, May 9th, 2017 at 6:04 a.m. The group I used to hang out with and I were playing basketball with Eminem, like the Eminem. Then we played a game, what I call Demons and Vampires, where everyone turned into a demon or vampire at will and had to eliminate each other. That was a pretty simple one, honestly. June 19th, 2017 at 7:11 a.m. In my dream, I was looking up at my ceiling in my dream. It was always the same, besides a notch at the top where a filled-in skylight would have been and a light. Where a filled-in skylight would have been and a light. I'm not sure what that means. Around the bottom of the notch were 3D promotional pictures for a 3DS game Dad got me. Oh, I remember what it means now. They had a bunch of cool things, but some had playable demos once you had the 3DS. They came out before the 3DS, and there was some Pokemon ones, so we had pictures of Sun and Moon before anyone else did. And in the notch, there was a nice sunset painting Dad did. Aw, well that's cute. So basically, just imagine, like, the lobby of an Olive Garden with, like, pictures of betas of 3DS games. Next one. February 4th, 2018 at 7:58 a.m. In this dream I had, my friends and people I knew were in the video game. Nice wording, Pete. It was like an action-adventure game, but also kind of like Fire Emblem. Anyways, it was a continuation of another dream I had a while back. And if someone died in the game, they didn't die in real life. They just got sent to prison, where you could break them out. I think I know this one. The first part was weird snowy castle with a huge black shy guy guarding the door to the next level. The enemies were rats. And our team lost a lot of lives before we screwed up. And Jacob even died. You know the guy I'm talking about. Well, when we got to the next level, everyone got split up. It was a snowy suburban town, and I was exploring it. I met the Royal Guard's leader, and we fought. We fought all the way to her castle and stepped in an elevator. We took a break in the elevator. The entire rest of the Royal Guard came in. I recognized 2 people in the guard, Chelsea and a Fire Emblem character called Ira. Really? Ira was the daughter of the leader of the Royal Guard. Well, we talked, and the elevator opened one more time before our stop, and came in a person... Oh, shit. This was still when I was angry at that chick. A chick named Chloe. Well, needless to say, as my stop came, I jammed my elbow in her throat and killed her with my lance, then walked out of the elevator! What? I don't remember it being that violent. I do not remember it being that violent. I think that's when my psyche finally, like, calmed down about that whole situation, and I finally got over that. I'll talk about it in some podcast with Connor. That was in the failed podcast, but we took too much time on it. It was a little embarrassing. I'll do it again, though. Anyways, we walked out of the elevator. The Royal Guard was called the Linians. I think I was supposed to put the Lillians. I assumed named after their leader. Yeah. I had dinner with the group and met everyone I knew who got sucked into the game there too. That's about it. Yeah, so the leader... I'm going to go a little bit more in detail to this because I think about this dream a lot because it was really fucking cool. So, like, the group, there was the lady, who I assume was named Lillian, was like 9 foot tall, and it was like in a white dress with like a rapier. And then there was my fiance, Chelsea, and they were all in the same like outfits, like white dresses. I think there was like 4 of them. I can't remember. But it was a cool fucking dream. It really was. And I'll always remember it because it was really sick. Next up, June 10th, 2018 at 2:23 a.m. I was doing something weird. I can't remember. I had like 5 different dreams. There was like people spitting in a cup. It was really weird. I was scanning stuff in dream. I began to scan something that seemed like it might reveal something very important when I was finished. But then I began to hear a loud wooden noise that woke me up. It felt strange. The guy was lighter and weaker. Government matrix conspiracy? If I scanned that thing and gained the info in the dream, I could have got out, right? Yeah, sure. What the I'm reading this straight from my straight from my notes. This is hilarious. Oh my god. September 1st, 2018 at 12:39 a.m. I had a dream where Andrew had a birthday party at my house, but it really wasn't mine. We were up till like 3 a.m. and in the 3-floor basement was Asian prostitutes and drugs and shit? Lots of colorful lights and rap vaporwave bullshit. What was really messed up was that the Asian foreign exchange students were there. What the fuck? They were fully clothed, so I assumed they were there for the party, but geez, it was strange. Yeah, that's a little fucked up. They were girls, too. Looking back, it was pretty weird. I took a break from looking around and went upstairs and realized, oh shit, my family's been here the whole time and they have been partying like it's 1999! There were kids in the basement too! Fucking hell. After some hours pass, I go outside. It's very dark with black clouds and faint orange lights in the distance. I notice the morning sky and see that it's most of my class. It's not the sky. I don't know what that means. But light and fireworks. Oh, okay. I go up to them and yell at the top of my lungs, yeah! And they respond the same. What a dream. Straight mental. That was messed up. Next one. December 12th, 2019 at 9:09 a.m. Had a dream where I played a Tekken Battle Royale. I played as Leroy, like Leroy Smith. and ran around a big map that looked like a bunch of Mario 64 assets, so it looked like a 64 game. I got into a fight with Kazumi, I think, what's her name? Kazumi, it's not Kazumi Mishima, whatever. She was a different version of her, like Nightmare Kazumi with a poison effect on some of her attacks. She killed me with a rage art. I'd never played Tekken at that, never played Tekken 7 at that point. Ooh, this one's good. Dreamed about a Ben Stiller and Brendan Fraser movie. Ben Stiller was an attorney who used a magical Game of Life board to kill his defendants and send them to purgatory, in which they would meet a goofy-looking Grim Reaper. They'd have two choices. Go to a new world or live in a different life. Live a different life in a current one. Brendan Fraser took a different world and got sent to space and landed on a cheese world. It was mostly cheese people until he got to the city. It was just normal humans, no cheese. There was a lot of worms though. January 30th, 2020 at 9:24 a.m. Had a dream where Berserk got a new animated show. It was made in the style of the Tangled cartoon, and Guts' face looked like Boomhauer. They added a new rival character who was voiced by Will Smith, and he had a white and purple armor and looked like Dedue from Fire Emblem. What was neat though is that certain parts of the show were almost exactly like the manga panels, just colored. I remember this one. March 25th, 2020 at 12:09 a.m. I was trying to get to Pete Bundy's house. I rode in his car with him. Told him about a movie, and it upset him and made him strange and scary. He told me to stay for the cats, so I did. Next minute, I wake up at a grocery store and have to walk to Pete's house. On his street, I encounter strange cat creatures. Once I cross the threshold, they leave me alone. I walk past his house on accident, then turn around and walk back. There's a fucking party going on. Lots of people I don't know. There's a baby in a playpen that looked like a wrestling ring. Andrew looks at me and nods. There's a man with a mustache and glasses, and he was telling me about how I was doing something cool that I don't remember doing. I woke up covered in sweat and shaking. April 9th, 2020, 8:56 a.m. I was somewhere in the world with Chelsea. I was hanging with her for a week. We were at a train station, but no trains came. I walked back to this area I had been to and left a Dante from DMC5 toy ad. It was still there. I began to pick it all up since I didn't want to forget it there. Connor and Ethan appeared. I think my stinky cousin was there too. And I don't mean just like, oh, stinky, haha. No, like he smells. April 11th, 2020, 9:06 a.m. Had a dream where I was talking to one of my friends from graphic design. She said she made an island for a teacher who was pregnant. She wasn't lying. They used a bunch of sand and wood chip and stuff. There was a house and everything. While we were showing the teacher their house, she went into labor, or whatever it's called. We put her in a kiddie pool and delivered the baby. Shit, this one is huge. April 16th, 2020 at 6:52 a.m. Had a dream about a group of kids who got kidnapped. Oh, this one. Their parents, invited Their parents invited these two guys over. Each one went to a different house. They brought this cereal over too. The kids get kidnapped and brought into some prison camp place. The kids get split up and a single kid gets isolated since he got out on his own and is stuck by some cliffs. One group is being experimented on and the others were just being held up. After a while, the kids noticed they got superpowers. It was from the cereal. The cereal messed them up. It dulled their senses and made them kind of dumber, but gave them superpowers as a side effect. The kidnapping group was banking on the kids just not thinking. One group gets a map of the area and the other gets superpowers. They need to meet up and find the last kid. Back home, a couple kids find out about the cereal since they didn't eat it. They find out because the cereal gets bigger and bigger every time you eat it. It looks like colored wheat thins. The kids start telling the others not to eat it, but the guys the parents invited catch on, and they fuse into the silhouette on the box. Will our heroes make it out? Maybe the story will continue in another dream. It hasn't happened yet, but I hope it will. April 30th, 2020, 12:17 a.m. Went to Canada, originally on my own, but now with family. We went to a hotel, but then go grocery with Chelsea. Yeah, you could tell I didn't really think too much about typing. Met some kid who wouldn't leave us alone, so I finally grabbed him and slammed his head against a shelf. Then took him to security. A whole bunch of people gathered around me and gave me like $700. Spoke with a sort of guide person I met before, then lost my parents and met up with some dudes, and I went home with them. Then we lost the dudes and got hit by a police car sliding at high speeds from an icy road. Yeah, so I was just like walking down the road and I just see this like police car just drifting and it just slides into me. That was the end. April 30th, 2020, 8 a.m. I keep having dreams about this arena fighting game. The roster is weird. Sephiroth, Cloud, Bruce Willis, Guts, and Jesus. May 8th, 2020, 3:22 a.m. I visit Scott Wozniak, and he milks a cow for me in a strange building. According to him, the cow was male, even though it had udders and milk was coming out. So it's like Otis from back at the barnyard. May 8th, 2020, 7:10 a.m. At a mall with my grandma and dad. There was a small food court / food for eternity, and I was lined up for a kiosk that had a lot of food options. I picked the funny hot dog one since I wanted a hot dog. Hot dog! I laughed and readjusted myself. An Obama in a sailor outfit pushed me out of line. I said, "I still gotta order, bro." And he left. I took a really long time, and there were a bunch of people behind me. When I was done, a dude said he wasn't even hungry anymore, and I think someone from the tourney was mad at me for taking a while. I kept apologizing, and they said something back, but I couldn't hear him. The dream ended before I ate my hot dog. May 12th, 2020, at 6:59 a.m. Dreamed I had some really good chicken or fish from an Asian place. Don't remember much more since it's been 3 hours since the dream. May 15th, 2020 at 3:22 a.m. Don't know where I was, but it was high security at all times. There were always security cameras everywhere, and if they saw you or you stepped into their line of sight, conveniently shown by way of green laser, the laser would turn red and you'd be thrown in jail or killed or something. Max and Chad from Cold Ones were there, I think. May 21st, 2020, 10:34 a.m. Had a dream where I was working at some shop. Then I went to work at a jewelry store, and they got robbed on my first day. It's a pretty chill robbery though. No cops, no yelling, just peeps grabbing things and going. There was an Omega Shenron there. May 31st, 2020, 11:14 p.m. Aliens came in a kanji-shaped spaceship and attacked a stadium, and everyone was pissed. A baseball player that was a cartoony skeleton tried to help, but couldn't. Met a kid at a snow place who had some kind of robo-glider. Went to some house to train. There was a ship last, but no ship. Lots of people, lots of katanas. I think it was like a ship mast. Hey, June 3rd, 2020, 8:59 a.m. Dreamed I was playing an RPG with a kooky cast of characters. There was me, sometimes a random girl, sometimes Beast Boy and Cyborg, Teen Titans Go version, Fiora from Xenoblade, but she had red hair, a different accent, and looked exactly like she did in the Wii. A pirate girl with a mini dragon from Panzer Dragoon. Rouge the Bat. Raiden from Mortal Kombat, my dad and my sister. We went to a city that had a small rundown area like Peru. In that area there was an old movie theater. We went to some snowy mountains on a ship, a ship on a Red Sea. June 6th, 2020 at 1:07 a.m. A character landed in a new dimension. There was only very deep water, darkness, platforms, and spotlights for miles. These platforms held the violent, big, cartoony purple and pink bat creatures. These bats would attack this character anytime a spotlight would shine on them, which happened a lot. The solution was to have the spotlights always on other bats, so they'd always have something to look at. Themselves. There was no escape from this realm. This was the character's life. Man. That kind of fucking sucks. 2-for-1 Dream. June 7th, 2020 at 4:33 a.m. Dreamed about a cover shooter Doom remake. People were pissed in the dream about it. And dreamed I was in a library and the books I had were all FGC books, but with funny covers. The only one I remember was a Bob the Builder classic cover. And instead of the title saying Bob the Builder, it said, How to Open Your Opponent in Neutral. June 17th, 2020 at 6:38 a.m. Dreamed about a Fallout 3 expansion. This one, I was a normal human, but everyone around me was short and cartoony. A completely different style than the rest of the game. I walked into an area where goblins were attacking citizens and went underground. I met the high-ups of the underground area, and they were cartoony people. To, quote, make sure I was trustworthy, unquote. I had to do a quiz and had to pull my teeth out. I immediately walked away, and they sent an RC car after me that shot bullets and rockets. I survived, and they said I was trustworthy. June 19th, 2020 at 9:12 a.m. Dreamed I was in an apartment building. My friends were taking me to the roof to see something. Post Malone was there, and he had straight hair, and went to get food and paint with my friends. I tried to get back to my room, but I was on the wrong floor, and half the floor was infested with large bugs. It snowed in June. June 25th, 2020 at 9:29 a.m. Had a dream where this group of friends helped one of the friends find a hidden piece of his dad's special recipe. Only part I remember was them on a dirt bike and a four-wheeler going on the beach when they got stopped by Falcomrom from Tekken, but he had no scars, wore clothes, and spoke English. They told him what they were doing, and he joined them. They went on and found the place they were looking for, a rectangle in the ground that was a waterfall. Only one person could go in because all challenges/puzzles were meant for one friend. One of the guys jumped in the hole and found an underground flower field. It was really pretty too. He had to get certain items and the piece of the recipe, but there was an 8-bit Minotaur. He found an 8-bit sword, hopped a little river, and got the item. He chopped the Minotaur's head off, quote, just in case it's like Sekiro. Oh, and, quote, just in case it's like Sekiro, unquote. He kicked the head away from the body and cut the body in half. He grabbed the recipe piece and headed out. July 5th, 2020 at 7:41 p.m. Had a dream where I was riding in a GMC SUV with all my family. My dad was driving. The water was deep by a bridge, so we went carefully. We crossed the bridge and my dad says, quote, "So how's it feel driving through a selfie?" unquote, to me. I noticed he's not paying attention to the road, and then he rockets off a cliff. I noticed the trees are very small and we fall for a long time, long enough for me to understand that I'll die. July 9th, 2020 at 7:04 a.m. I had this dream before. Had a dream that there was an elevator that went super far down to this sweet store that had multiple floors. Like this place was way underground. Anyway, there were some Hot Wheels cars and shit cans, candy, and bubblegum. But I got too much gum and there was no trash cans. I went back into the elevator and tried to go home, but just as I got to the top, the cord broke and it fell. Yeah, so just imagine, like, you get into this elevator and you just go super far underground. Like, scary far underground. And there's just this big candy store that's like pastel pinks and yellows and blues. And there's no windows because, well, you're underground. You can't see anything anyways. And it's like this bright, like, yellow light. Oh, it's really creepy. At least to me, anyways. July 10th, 2020 at 5:57 a.m. I had a dream about a Mario movie. The Mario cast crash landed on an island and had to find all the Toads before some evil force got to them. It wasn't Bowser. The end of the movie was just filled with video game related bits, like an ad for Rashid's Trading Company voiced by Johnny Cage. The final bit was 3 guys in the Mortal Kombat ninja outfits dancing to classic rock music on a set that looked like an alley from the 1950s. So just like assume it was like Grease music. July 25th, 2020 at 7:08 a.m. Dreamed I was back in school and we did this speedrun obstacle course. That was it. And now finally the most recent dream. July 28th, 2020 at 2:04 a.m. Just had the worst nightmare. First, a video, and not me. So first I was like watching like a TikTok video or something. A guy noticed some girl doing some freaky shit by a van. He walks around some more and sees a camper with thousands of candles around it. He makes some comment about witches or something and leaves for home in the darkness. All of a sudden, what looks to be the bottom half of a hairy man appears on screen. And it spreads its asshole. And it's all cut up and bloody and very gross and gory. The original man's eyes pop out of his head, and he bolts home like that was some premonition about him. Then, it was me. So, this was like part of like a game part or something. I don't know. So, it was first person, it was me. It was really late, and I see a doctor walking down my hall, and I freak out. He tells me to calm down, and that it's just to give me a shot. More doctors show up, and yeah, turns out my mom got me some doctors to help me. I got the shot, get a finger up my butt for whatever reason. They should be done, but something strange happens. Enemies appear. A blonde woman, a book with teeth, a small rat, a wooden grinder, and something meaty, I think. So, by wooden grinder, I mean, think of like a table, like just a wood table that like floats around, and there's like a small water wheel on it, and you like get your head caught into it, and it like grinds your flesh. Like there's nobody holding it, it just floats around like that. Anyways, I get chased and it's really scary. I guess I'm watching a horror game now with all those enemies. I get killed a lot and it makes me sick. Like seeing the gore like makes me throw up. Like makes me feel very nauseous. I get them off my tail for a bit. The first doctor comes back and asks me for payment. Now this is not a game. Then the lady and the book show up again, and the doctor gets scared. He falls down the stairs and gets his head eaten by the book. And the lady gets her hand eaten, but she doesn't mind and starts to use the book as a weapon, and now she's got needle arms. I rushed to my car and that was the dream. I was like shaking when I wrote that. So yeah, that's all the dreams that I've written down from 2016 to now. I hope you like it. Hope you like diving into my subconscious. So yeah. See you when the podcast is updated.